Oh, now.
Okay,
We're
you
not
good?
live.
Okay, cool. Hey, yo, you live. Well, hey, we're live. It's a Straight No Chase at the Talk Show with Shanoa, Pretty Shanoa Lawrence. That's her name. I'm Todd Fountaine. I just happened to be hosting for Shanoa. Ain't that some shit? Anyway, I titled the title of this particular video and this particular show. I'm doing so in favor of Shanoa, what I would think that she would want. We're talking about the business of real estate. We're talking about the whole the whole actual practice of real estate. And I want to ask our guests after they introduce themselves some particulars so people can really understand exactly what real estate is, what it isn't, and what are the pros and cons of certain things. So my name is Todd Fountaine, Straight No Chaser. Y'all know me. And I'm going to direct the camera. Let me change my camera around to the gentleman right in front of me. Y'all see him, right? He got on the suit, and he's not going to court, and he's not going to church. He's here right now in the building, and we talk about real estate. Brother, introduce yourself to the world. What's your name? What's your status? What do you actually do in the real estate world?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Joshua Dorsman. I'm a licensed New York State realtor. I primarily operate in Brooklyn. I'm part of Welch's International Realty. We're stationed out in Canarsie, Brooklyn, 1586 Rockaway Parkway. We specialize in rentals, we do commercial, and we also do sales.
Okay, that's what's up. He sells you stuff that you might want. Now, we have this young lady, right? Young lady, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's right.
Why are you acting like you nervous?
I'm not nervous at all.
State your name, like, who you are, what you do. Why are you here?
My name is Angela Russell, and I'm a sales agent at Welch's Realty, 1586 Rockaway Parkway. I'm a sales agent. I specialize in finding affordable apartments for people.
Okay, can you clarify what is affordable?
What you can actually afford beyond your budget, not beyond your budget, but what you can actually afford to pay on a monthly basis that fits your budget comfortably.
So, because see, people have an issue. When I say people, I've asked these questions. When people say affordable, that's a real broad term because certain people from different financial and economical demographics can afford different things.
Right.
But when you're speaking to the masses, you have someone that makes maybe $1,500 after taxes. You have someone else that makes $750 after taxes, and you have someone that's on public assistance. How does affordable how is that applicable to each one as an individual?
Right, because what a lot of people tend to do is they want to pick apartments that they clearly know they cannot afford. So that's why I say affordable. Choose something that you know you'll be able to afford, and you'll still have money afterwards to pay your light, your gas, your food, your phone, your cable. You don't want to pick an apartment for, let's say, a 2-bedroom for $1,800 a month, and then your monthly income, let's say after net, is $2,000. Then you're paying $1,800 for a 2-bedroom. Now you only have $200 left over. So you got to think about rent, light, gas, cable, your cell phone. So you have to pick something within your means and according to the income that you actually net to bring home.
So let me ask you a question, right? She's real popular. Let me ask you
That's
a question.
the actual broker.
Let me ask you a
Everton
question.
Welch.
How do you how do you manage a program or facilitate a program that is geared towards so many different levels? Because, you might have 5 people come to you and say, hey, listen, this is my budget and I can only afford to pay X, Y, Z, and someone else has a different budget. Are there levels to that? Are there like certain plateaus? Like, how does that work?
Well, normally if a person, let's say, if they want a 1-bedroom apartment, most 1-bedroom apartments right now in Brooklyn, let's say specifically Canarsie, goes for about $1,500
For 1 bedroom.
A lot of them $1,500. No, we have some that are $1,300, $1,400. Some are $1,200. Yes, but certain landlords, according to how they renovated their properties, they want to ask for a certain amount of income. So let's say normally if you are looking at a $1,500 apartment. Yearly, you should be anywhere between, let's say, $30,000 and $35,000. Yes.
30 and 35,000 is not even $1,000 a week. That's
Right.
about maybe almost 500, maybe 650 a week.
Just about.
Right.
Right? Just
Right.
about 650 a week.
Yes.
Double that. So every 2 weeks you're getting 1,300. Every month you're getting about 2,600. Of which how much goes to your rent?
About 1,500. Yes, that's exactly why. That's exactly what we try to educate people on. It's like you can't make $35,000 a year and want a $2,000 a month apartment for a 2-bedroom. It's not going to happen. You know, so you have to look at what your net income is. Normally, we want you to come to closely at least maybe or 2 weeks to be able to cover your rent, and then the next 2 weeks you might have to take a couple hundred from that to cover your rent and then to cover your other bills. You know, so it really has to be affordable according to what your check actually says. Not what your annual income is, but it's what your net, what you actually netting and bringing home.
Damn, you have to be damn near a financial advisor.
Absolutely. And that's what we do on a daily basis. Absolutely.
Wow. How tough is it?
Very.
Challenging.
Okay, because you're the money guy.
Yeah.
Right? You're the money guy. And exactly how do people procure the money, like directly from you? Is there an agency they go through? How does someone come to you and says, yo, bruh, yo, hook me up, I need something? What do they do?
Well, in this business, the first thing you have to actually be open to doing, you have to be an active listener. And the reason being, active listening is one of the key stuff in communication that allows you to go very far. As you said, since I'm the money guy, if somebody comes to me with a certain situation, first I need to be able to assess your situation. I need to know what your actual needs are. And then I can go about advising you the best route to take based off your situation. So as you see, we're touching basis on how it's like to determine affordability when it comes to renting apartments. There's a rule of thumb that New York City generally uses. And if an apartment is just about $1,000 a month, right? You need to be able to make 40 times that monthly rent.
So 40 grand.
Just about.
A year. It's an annual salary.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay.
So the thing is, as my colleague Angela said, every landlord has different requirements, different specifications, so that may change. But generally speaking, the equation is 40,000. So whatever the monthly rent is, you have to times that by 40, and that's how you know if they qualify in the income level.
Wow. How important is the credit score?
Credit is very, very important.
Hold on. She just bust out laughing when I said credit score, because a person can make a certain amount of money, but if they don't have money management skills,
Right.
right? Because you have some people that are, upper middle class,
Yeah,
and they have money issues.
they bring home the big bucks, but they don't really have anything to show for it.
It's like
Right.
it's like I some people I know that they have what is it? How does it go? They have a Range Rover, but they still live where they have alternate side of the street parking.
Exactly.
Right. So when it comes down to credit scores, how important is that, and how do you assess a person's, are they qualified to receive certain funds based upon their credit score, and if so, how do you assess that?
Well, credit is a major factor when it comes to determining someone's eligibility for whether it's an apartment, whether it's a property. So with all the regulations that are out, there's specific stuff that say you cannot discriminate. Those are the fair lending laws, And basically, with credit, you can't really discriminate, but then, they can have their specific requirements. So the thing is, they can't deny you based off of your credit score per se, but even with the credit report, they go into certain things such as your background to see if you have any delinquencies, see if you have any evictions. So at times, certain people can have good credit scores, but then they can have certain things in their financial credit history that would disqualify them from getting the property that they're trying to acquire.
Guess who's here?
It's me. Hello.
Guess who's here? You didn't even know I was gonna be here.
You told me you was gonna be here.
I told you.
You don't even be remembering what you.
Well,
be
we
saying.
saw it. I saw it. I told.
No, I said it.
You
I
don't
said
even
it.
Be remembering what you be saying, Todd.
Anyway, let me let.
But it's Joshua.
Before she talks
Hi, sir.
junk,
How
before
are
she
you?
talks junk, he was just informing the panel about how valuable a credit score is concerning getting money or funding towards
Absolutely. Well, yeah,
purchasing
that's a fact.
any kind of property. So wow, that's because there's certain discrimination can be implemented, but in a very clandestine way.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. As a black man that sees a lot of black families, black people, trying to prosper, a person could see you as like you're an inside man, right? Because so to speak, because it's like, well, yo, I know a dude. Yo, I'm telling you, like the person that I saw on a post, they was like, yo, such and such and such, I need this particular help. So I'm like, listen, guess what? On tonight's show, it's going to be X, Y, Z, so and so and so. So I'm promoting you too, not as someone that's just going to do something illegal, right? But it's not going to let them get fucked over in the process.
Right.
Exactly.
Whereas, like, because you understand us as black people in America and the whole shebang, listen, here's a lady that needs some help. Y'all are in position. And I think that y'all have a moral obligation to, if you're in position, help those that, need the help, as opposed to just trying to be greedy. And that's what it's about. Have you ever been, because you denied someone, have you ever been like, has there been a false claim of like, well, you only did that because of, you only did this, or if someone that is a fellow black person that doesn't fit the like they really don't fit the profile, right? And you have to deny them. Have they cried foul to make it seem like you are?
They've tried to allude to that, but what I generally try to establish from the beginning is that everything is completely fair and transparent. So everyone can considerably be equal. Everyone can be considered equally for credit, but everyone won't be offered credit on the same terms because everyone's financial profile and financial history is completely different. So in situations like that, as sad as it is to say, I've had countless amount of our brothers and sisters come up to me and to say, hey, like, I want to apply for a loan. First thing I'd ask them, hey, what's your credit score? Oh, I don't know. And I'm like, how are you going to apply for a loan and you don't know what your credit score is?
So really quickly though, I mean, I know I just jumped in. Sorry. Okay, cool.
Sorry,
So,
not sorry, not sorry.
Not right.
Sorry, not sorry. Yeah.
So are people really that? And I'm not asking this in a facetious way. Are people really that unaware of their credit score, or not really understanding how imperative it is to A, have a knowledge of your credit score, and B, understand that you need to have somewhat of a decent credit score to get anything that's maybe a percentage rate or a mortgage rate or even rent that's reasonable? Do people really you know what I'm saying?
They're completely clueless. They actually have no idea. One of the interesting things, as you stated, with credit, when it comes to your electricity bill, depending on how your credit score is, will determine the type of rate you'll be charged.
Your electricity bill?
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that. That's something I didn't know. So when did that happen? Because I'm messing with Con Edison right now. So since when did they start giving a fuck about my credit score and shit?
They're going to get you.
Well, as you know, the whole institution, the FICO score and stuff has been around since like the 70s or the 80s.
What is FICO?
Well, no.
What is FICO? I have no idea. What's
FICO? F-I-C-O.
FICO. Oh, FICO. What's that an acronym for?
Actually, let me tell you, I don't want to misquote it, so
Okay.
Let me just bring it up very quickly.
So, I didn't even know that had anything to do with what the electric company was.
Electric, cable,
That is
car insurance.
Bandanas.
Yes.
Well, no,
Electric,
I know about the. Oh, thank you. That's
Well,
a
you got
penny.
a penny. penny for luck.
penny for
There you go.
a penny for your
No,
thoughts.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. No. I knew about the insurance situation,
Yes.
right? Because Geico is one of the main companies that won't even fuck with you if your shit is fucked up. They're like, sorry, see you later.
Yeah.
But and then you can get insured elsewhere and stuff like that. But I did know about that, right? But as far as the electric company, I need lights. So what's really happening here?
Well, that would determine that would actually determine if they are going to let you start a new account with a deposit.
So
or
I can't
not.
use my daughter
use your
who's
baby
4 years old, that type of shit. Is that
Right.
still does that still work? Because I remember back
You got cable in your grandbaby name.
Right, exactly. I want to know if that's still, but we can still do that. Really, how does this
Little
work?
Shemaiah got
Right.
got
Little
stars.
Tay-Tay,
Little
Tay-Tay,
Shemaiah got
Little
stars.
Tay Jones. That's what they do, girl.
Little Shemaya got the fight in her name.
She got a 430 credit score, and she's only 10 years old.
All right. And then what happens with that, a lot of parents do that, and then when the child turns 20, 21, they try to apply for a credit card, they can't because they're $50,000 in debt because their mama used a...
Have you seen that?
Okay,
yes,
so
we've seen that.
Really quickly, hold on a second.
Several times.
Teresa said, thank you, Tina. Teresa said, you have to pay a deposit for utilities if your credit score is poor.
Yes.
In some cases,
We
yes.
just-
I didn't even, but no, here's the thing. No, I didn't. I've had my same insurance, my insurance, my same electric and gas and utilities for like past, I don't know how many years. So
Yes, Jesus was born.
this is some,
Yes.
wow.
So that means never.
No, you're not that old. Not that old. Okay, but yeah, but no, I really didn't even know about that though. I swear I
Yes.
did not know about that.
And
I did
and the
not
same
know
thing
about
with
that.
cable. Same thing with cable. You know, you can apply for, even your cell phone bill.
Yeah, well, no,
You
I
can
know about
apply
the
for-
cell
right.
phone. I know about the
Your
cell phone bill.
Yes.
Yes.
Your cable. It determines if you want to start a new account with Sprint. If your credit
Right.
score is low, you got to
Right.
put a $200 deposit or a $300
Yeah,
deposit.
they do hit you with a higher deposit if your credit
Yes,
score is
yes.
janky.
And-
I do know that.
And
I do know
definitely
that.
for our car loan, the same thing with
Oh yeah, no,
our car
definitely,
loan.
definitely.
They're gonna
I do
hit
know
you
about
up.
that, but I didn't know about like the necessities, right? So
Yes.
you can make the argument that depending on where you live, a car is a necessity, right? You can't make the argument that utilities are a necessity
Right.
unless you're living in like the fucking Ozarks or like you're in
Right,
Amish or
right,
some
right,
shit,
right.
right?
Yeah.
So, but I really had no clue. But look, I mean, I think this can really kind of open the door to a deeper discussion in terms of wealth. You know what I mean, in this country and stuff like that, and how really the odds are stacked against us.
Yes.
Well, not us, but just in general, people, not even us in terms of people of color, but just poorer people in general.
Anyone
okay?
with the low income,
Right,
or-
anyone with a low income or
income,
low credit score,
Right,
and
exactly.
there's tons of reasons why you may have a lower credit score, right? So that's really, I'm so glad that I found this out because I really had no clue. Again, I've had the same electric thing, the same gas since forever. I didn't even know that there was any type of criteria
Yes.
for that. That is bananas.
Bananas, yes it is.
Okay, who's on the line?
Sheriff.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, what's your
Sheriff.
name?
Sheriff.
Who?
Sheriff.
Sheriff?
Or syrup?
Yeah.
Syrup or sheriff?
Sheriff.
Seraph, are you from
Sheriff.
Are you from Minneapolis?
Yes, I am, sir.
Hey, Sarah, what's up, man? This of course, it's Todd Shanoa, and we have our lovely real estate guest is going to tell you everything you need to know about how to make money under the table. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
Under the table.
But no, I just want you. But I just feel free, bro, to just ask your fluid questions.
Excuse me.
I really had more of a statement than a question because the FICO score, the credit score, if you will, we all know what having a good credit score can do so that we can be extended credit so we can buy stuff. We all know that. We also know that our FICO score, our credit score, gives us an opportunity to create bills.
Yeah.
The question that I've often asked, because I work for a financial service company, and if Todd looked at my timeline, he sees what I do. But my point that I always rebut anybody's comments about your credit score is simple. If your credit score is not making you money, you're misusing your credredit score. In other words, what's the point of having an 850 credit score if it's not feeding you? Because everybody uses their credit score so it can eat them. The question is, how are you using it so it can feed you?
Right.
Okay. So can we direct the question towards either Shanoa and our guest?
Absolutely.
Take the wheel.
Which one of us?
Take the wheel. Anyone you want to address it to?
Either one, whoever wants to address it, because like I said, we all.
I mean, I
know.
You guys are the guests, so
the company
Angela,
I work with, and I'm not trying to
answer
plug.
that.
So I just want you to know I'm not doing that. I'm just saying our people, especially, we are notoriously underinformed about many of the things that happens in this world of finance and business, and not uninformed. We're just underinformed.
Yeah.
A lot of times we let's take real estate.
Mm-hmm.
When the real estate bubble burst, that was when we was just getting into real estate.
Right.
And when the mortgage company mortgage lending crisis happened, that's when a lot of us had just gotten our little mortgage licenses and stuff. So we always end up at the party after all the chicken wings and liquor is already gone. so what I'm saying is right now is a crucial moment in the financial sector for our people.
Yes.
Because it's time for us to stop concerning ourselves so much with what our credit score is, but finding out what we can do with our credit score. Because our credit score, up until recently, was only used just like, okay, any women on this panel who've ever had a male friend, boyfriend, FB, whatever you want to call them, that was laying on the couch when you left to go to work.
Never.
And laying on the couch when you came back. And the
Totally
only real
not.
thing that he had to contribute was, how about some money? Well,
Right.
that's what your FICO score has been up until now.
Okay.
The question is, how do you flip that? I know how, but I need you guys to start looking at that.
Okay, so really quickly, I'm gonna let Angela address that, but really quickly, I guess that it all depends on your mindset and the type of person that you are, right? So, as far as you having like this stellar credit score and allowing a human, a male or female, you know what I mean, children, offspring included, to just lay on your couch and just not contribute at all is just ridiculous, right? So
But I wasn't,
a person.
hold on, I wasn't referring to an actual human. I was using
did
an
say person on the
analogy.
couch.
Yeah, you
of
did say
your
person on the
FICO
couch. We're
score
talking about
being
cats,
that
dogs,
person.
who, hamsters, what? No, here's the thing, right? If you're living in my household, you know what I mean? It doesn't really matter who you are. If you're living in my household and I have a stellar credit score and you're not contributing anything, those two things to me wouldn't even. I don't even really know if that would really happen, because someone who is cognizant of the importance of a really great credit score is someone who is probably responsible, right? Because it takes more than paying your bills on time to get that credit score up. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to pay my Victoria's Secret bill on time. Now I got an 850 credit score.
Could I add real
No.
quick? Could I add real quick? It's
Yes, go ahead.
like a good credit score is equal to someone having so much potential but not doing anything with it.
Yeah,
And
but
that's what
but
that's
again,
what I'm
in order to get a
referencing.
stellar
I'm
credit
not
score.
I wasn't referring to your credit score and somebody else living in your house.
No,
what
he
I'm
said what you
saying
can
is,
do with
I want
What you can do with it.
Look
True.
at your
You're right.
at your
You're
credit
right.
score like a person
Yeah.
who lives in your
Oh,
house.
okay, I understand what you're saying.
If that person
Right.
living in your house
You're right.
is not contributing to bringing money into your
Right.
house, that person needs to be either taught how to make money.
No,
or you need.
you're
to,
absolutely right.
You know what I mean?
You're absolutely right, and
That's
I
what I'm
think
saying.
that a lot of
we
people.
need to learn how to use our FICO score to make. Us
No,
money,
you're
not
150%
necessarily
right.
buy stuff.
Okay,
You're
shouldn't-
150% right, and I think that a lot of people just think about that credit score not in the way that he said, but just as a way to.
An accomplishment, maybe. Like I pay my bills on time.
I pay my bills on time. It's an accomplishment, and look where I am.
But
my
now,
credit score is whatever.
how advantageous is paying your bills on time to
he's
you?
150% right. But again, though, I think also that it matters. Like, what are you planning on doing with your life, just in general? If
Right.
you're planning on just working wherever you're working, right, and you've been working, let's just say, for transit or whatever for 15 years, and you plan on working for another 20 years before you retire so you can get whatever premium pension, blah blah blah, you're not really thinking about it like that. You're just thinking like, okay, I pay my bills on time, so I don't have to worry about when I get a mortgage or I
Right.
get a car loan or whatever. But
Right.
if you're somebody who's thinking about opening up a business or something like that, then that's something different.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right. So what you.
No,
Right.
because you want her to elaborate.
Yeah, I do
I'm
want you
curious.
to
I'm
elaborate,
here to learn some shit.
All right. So what you really want to do is, let's say you have a credit score of 800.
Yeah.
Right. You want to take that credit score and you want to make it build for you.
Yes.
So if someone has a credit score of 800, you really should start looking into like owning properties. You want to own real estate. You want to be able to. Because you with a score like that, it'll be real easy for you to acquire a mortgage.
Yeah.
You know, you
Yes.
put that X amount as a down payment, you get a mortgage. You live on one floor, you rent out the 2 floors. the other 2 floors, and at that point you can basically live rent free, and you just pay your property taxes.
Right.
If your tenants are not paying the difference. So there's a lot of advantages of having a great credit score. Not to mention you get 100 offers from all different avenues, all different companies,
all the time,
everything, 1,000,000 credit cards. But you don't want to accept those credit cards either. You want to stick to maybe 2 or 3 credit cards, and you want to keep them anywhere, your spending usage, you want to keep it like anywhere between like 10 and 30%.
Don't have no balance.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to, have a credit card for, let's say, like $20,000 and you spend a whole $20,000 in 1 month.
So let me
That's
ask you
going to lower your score.
Let me ask you something.
Sure.
It would be more advantageous to you to have your credit cards, like you said, maybe 2 or 3 credit cards, but pay off your balance.
Right.
Is it true that it's the balance that they're looking for, as opposed to whether you're paying your bill on time?
Exactly.
Now, don't get me wrong.
Right.
You got to pay your bill on time regardless, because
Right.
that's going to have a credit. But is it
credit,
true
is that credit to debt ratio?
Yes. So you still have to, if you have, let's say you have a credit card for $5,000, you don't want to spend a whole $5,000 every single month.
Yes.
You want to, maybe out of that $5,000, you want to maybe spend $1,000 and then pay back $1,000, because
Okay.
you don't want to spend 100% of your credit usage.
Okay.
Because that's not going to make your credit score increase. That's
Okay.
only going to say, okay, she's paid her bill on time.
That's
but
it.
your score is not going to get better if you
Right.
use 100% of your credit
Right.
usage.
So what actually makes our score increase?
The score increases again if you have like $1,000 credit. You spend anywhere between 10 and 17%. Some people say 30%, but it's basically between 10 and 17%. Right, so let's say out of that $5,000, you spend $1,000 that month, you pay back $1,000. You spend $1,000, you pay back $1,000. That's what make your score increase. But if you spend the entire $5,000, your $5,000 limit, it'll just know that you paid your bill on time, but your score is not going to increase.
It's not going to increase or decrease. Here's the thing, right? This is and we're actually going to discuss this on the other show later on the Black Source. We have someone who's really financially well off, going to discuss this same thing that we're discussing, but just like on another
different level. Right.
Oh, they rich? They rich?
They really are.
Oh, good.
But I'm mad that I said it, because they don't even like to really
But it's okay.
refer to themselves as that.
Listen,
but
a success story is always good to
but
report.
they're beyond rich, right?
Right.
So, but that's another story. So, but here,
Well, could I add one more statement?
Yes, you
because
may.
Everything that you guys were just referencing, and everything you were talking about, is all correct. There's nothing incorrect about any of it. I'm just saying, if you look at it from a different perspective, everything that you guys were just discussing is how to be a good consumer. That's basically what that is: a steward of your money.
right?
But my question is this: can you take your credit score, use it to actually make you money, not use it to get credit cards, because that's getting more credit.
You
Right,
can, but
property,
I want to
you are
just kind of
making
just
money.
finish what I was about to say really quickly, okay?
And that's what I'm saying. That's what we do.
Yes.
You're acquiring
No,
property
you
to
can
make
take-
money.
Yes,
If you can
absolutely.
take
But
your
I want to
credit
just like
score-
kind of like
let
make
me-
this
let me-
point
let me-
really
let me
quickly, because
go
I
Oh,
think
sir,
it's
let her complete her
Yeah,
statement.
I think this is a
And
really
then- and
important.
then-
This is a really important point. Okay, so I was having this discussion with someone. Actually, not someone. Another radio show that I'm on. I had this discussion maybe about a couple of months ago, and we were talking about the importance of young people understanding what credit is.
Right.
Okay, and I said that there should be. We used to have home economics in school, right? There should be. I don't know what the curriculum is in school now, but there should definitely be part of like your required learning what the
on your
credit
scores,
score
yes.
is, and the hazards and dangers of amassing credit at such a young age, and also the benefits of amassing credit at a young age. You understand? Now it's a fine line when you are going into college, okay, and these lending institutions are very, very quick to give you money because they want to suck you in, like, right off your mama's teeth onto my teeth type shit. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? And they want to do this. So I really, really think that if there were more of a focus on this, and maybe even, junior high school, going into high school, and young children had an understanding of what credit and loaning really means. Because when you're in college, you get there, you're broke. You don't have any money,
Right,
and
you're
we've all been there.
You're
You
just
have no
spending.
bread, so and you're living off of whatever loans that you're getting, and you're trying to copy off of your friend's book from the school from the thing, and you're saying, okay, how much can I sell my book back for? You don't have coins like that, and on top of that, Visa and MasterCard and all these people, when I was coming up,
Yep.
were in the lobbies of Long Island University, like, hey, come over here, and you're guaranteed acceptance, you're guaranteed approval. That's ridiculous to me. And I did not have a real understanding
Right.
of what the fuck I was doing. All I was thinking of, okay, yeah, I'm gonna pay it back.
Right.
You said you're gonna give me $400 in credit right now. I'm trying to get this Big Mac. I'm
spending it
hungry.
right now, right.
So you're not thinking clearly, and you're not understanding the real repercussions, the real ramifications of amassing this type of credit at such a young age.
Right.
So this should definitely be a focus on young kids, but I don't know if that's something that will happen, because for obvious reasons, okay? That being said, people need to understand that you're not going to have a great credit score by owing someone money.
Right.
They don't give a fuck that you have paid your bill on time. It's the fact that you owe me money, because guess what? You could die tomorrow. So you could owe me $5,000, and you give me my $50 a month that I say that you have to give me, but you're still a risk, because what happens if you're not here tomorrow?
Right.
So that's where the issue lies. So young people and just people in general need to understand that you need to pay your bill on time, not the minimum payment, but the whole payment.
And not
You understand?
max it to the top.
And not max it
Max,
out.
one question that I'm
Yes.
going to ask this to the financial people. Why is it, or does it seem that it's easier for you to get a loan for school than it is for you to get a loan for a business?
Because most people that are in school are young people, and they want to suck you in while you're still young and have you as a slave from 18 years old. Now, don't get me wrong. The same rules apply. It doesn't matter if you're 37, you're trying to go back to school. They don't.
Yeah, business
You know what I'm
versus
saying?
school.
Right. But if you're a young person, they want to get you in from now. I need this person owing me from now. That way she will always be, he or she will always
be in debt.
beholden to me from now. This is why you have, come on,
Chanel,
medical students.
Chanel, you have a caller?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm answering the question. Go ahead.
There's a call on the line.
Who's the caller? Where you, what's your name? Where you calling from? Sorry.
Hi, my name is Natasha.
Okay.
So I'm actually. Hi, Kai.
Oh, Lord. Go ahead, Tasha.
Okay, so I actually don't have a question. I just kind of had a comment. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. So I was going to say I'm definitely not a financial expert, and I definitely don't give financial advice, but I could tell you some tips that actually worked for me, like when I was in college and the university. One of the things that I did when I was getting my hello.
Yes,
we're
we're
here.
here.
We're listening.
I'm sorry. It's because I got two phones going on.
No.
All right. So one thing that I did do, and I actually learned it from one of my vanilla friends when I was in graduate school,
She said
was
vanilla.
that I got a scholarship, and however, I still took out student loans. But I took out the student loans, and I actually was able to put down for my first co-op, a co-op that I did not need to live in.
Okay.
It was a co-op that I was using to sublet.
Right.
I love that.
Was
Look
one
at
of the
that.
smartest
Yes, you do.
decisions that I ever made.
Yes.
Because even though I wind up in that 2.5 years racking up, like I think I wind up taking out like $50,000. Back then, this is years ago. I'm talking about. The co-op was only like $86,000.
Okay.
And then I had a tenant. I was subletting. So that was one of like the early lessons that I learned in university. And I'm definitely not encouraging people to take out student loans for those purposes.
No, but you
But
you
that was
you
actually-
killed it.
that
You
helped
killed
me
it.
out.
You
You
killed
took
it.
out the student loan and
You
bought
killed
property.
it. Yo, what's your applause?
Right. I
Man.
did, because I didn't need the money from the student loan. Because
Yes.
I got a scholarship, but people don't realize
Yes,
that you
yes.
take out student loans. And it was a very low interest rate. And then, I mean, it gets even better because I actually work for first I was in the school system, then I was in a hospital setting.
Okay.
Once 2007 came and they had the loans forgiveness program, boom, my loans are finished.
Right.
After
Wow.
10 years,
That's dope.
they're done. So once 2017 came, even though I was paying a little bit on the loans, they're done. Vanished.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm definitely not trying to encourage people to, take out unnecessary student loans, but that's one other thing.
No,
One
that's
other point, because I don't want to, hog up the line.
No. That's
Another
a
thing-
great point that you made,
another
and that's
thing that I
awesome.
did- Say it again?
No, that's a great point that you made, and that's awesome. Like that's awesome. Awesome. Absolutely.
Right, and-
Yeah.
And another thing that I did is that I learned to buy stocks that didn't require a broker.
Yeah.
So, for example, Walt Disney, they
Okay.
have the shareholder account. I'm not sure about now, but I remember this is like 15 years ago. $250
Yeah.
is all I needed to start. It was like the minimum,
Mhm.
and it was no broker involved.
That's so
Then I
dope. It
learned
might be
about
it might be a little
computer
it might be a little
shares,
different now. Might be a
Yeah,
little bit
it might
different
be a
now.
little different.
But it's
But
a good
I
thing
tell
that you
people,
took advantage of it at that time.
Right, and even computer share.
Yes.
Computer share for Walmart.
Mhm.
So there's little things that we can do without involving a middleman to add.
Absolutely.
To money.
Absolutely.
So that's all I kind of wanted to chime in.
No,
Definitely
you're
not an
absolutely
expert.
right.
You guys
And
do
you know what?
a
She
great
makes
job.
a she makes a good point, because if you have the time, you may want to look at places to invest your money, like she said, without a broker,
Right.
right? I mean, I've traded stocks and stuff like that with a broker, because I'm inept in that regard or whatever, and
Right.
a little bit lazy, don't really have the time. But like, if you have the time, why not invest in some of these stocks? Maybe even penny stocks.
My penny
You
stock.
understand what I'm saying?
And even like Loyal 3. You ever heard of Loyal 3? They actually transferred out last year, so I sold all my stocks.
Mm-hmm.
But Loyal 3 was a great one, too. And with Loyal 3, I had Best Buy, I had Burger
Oh,
King.
my
I had
gosh.
about 10 with them, but I did close them out last year because it might have been 2017
Okay.
because they were bought out and
Okay.
the fees were going to increase.
Okay.
So now what I do is I basically buy CDs. Ally Bank, they usually have, like I go on, bankrate.com. So again, I'm not an expert, but I tell people.
No,
like,
girl,
I'm a
you should
younger
have probably been here
ghetto,
with us
and I
today.
kinda learned how to-
She will hopefully she's supposed to be in New York sometime this month.
Yeah.
So hopefully she'll have her ass, and we'll coordinate it where Shanoa and Tasha will be across from each other, and I'll
Yeah.
be sitting in the corner.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Nice talking to you guys. I'll
Thank you
stay
so much
tuned.
for
Okay,
calling
bye.
in. Thank you.
Okay. Wow.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
To the financial expert, the guy in the suit.
Yes.
Okay.
Who's not going to court, and he's and he's not going to church. From your perspective, when you have people that are novices and they have this particular information, and you're well versed, when they come to you and say, "Yo, bro, listen, what about this? What about that?" How do you advise them? Is there a code of ethics concerning your business that you don't want to cross, or you like, listen, talk to me when we're gonna talk to me at lunch, like,
So-
meet me at the deli and we
So
can talk this out.
One thing that I always establish is that there's no guarantees. And actually, to piggyback off of the question you asked earlier, how are people able to get student loans? The reason they're able to get student loans with no issue is that it is a government-funded loan.
Oh.
It's guaranteed by the government. So they have loans like that even to purchase real estate.
Thing wasn't
Any
like
loans that
Do
tend.
they? You can purchase real estate with government loans?
So the thing is,
Sally Mae and them?
so things like FHA and that nature, those are government programs where basically they allow you to acquire the financing, and your credit is really not an issue. So with student loans, it's just of that nature, because think of it, it's a whole bunch of people just coming out of high school. They're not working. They don't really have any experience, and they're getting these loans for $50,000, $100,000. How are they even able to pay that back? How are they even getting the loan? It's just the fact that the government is funding the loan. It allows them to do it. But then Tasha was actually smart enough in her situation to flip the script and do things to alleviate herself, but not everyone's as lucky.
So she took the loan for the school and applied it to real estate. Wow. So if someone comes to either one of you, upstanding citizens, right? And they come to you and say, listen, well, I have X amount of dollars already. I already have the money. It's in the bank. I need to know from either one of you kind folk, I want to buy a co-op. Should I buy a house, commercial property? What should I do? And how do you advise them, and why would you advise them to go that particular way?
Well, depending on the amount of income they have to put down as a down payment, I will always advise people to put a down payment on real estate. One thing, real estate is it'll always be a demand for real estate.
Commercial
Real estate, residential, rental apartments, because there's always going to be.
Can I ask you a question? How much money would you need to put down on, let's just say, like a space, like a vacant space somewhere, like in the bowels of East New York?
Like a lot?
Like a lot.
What anywhere like $10,000 to $20,000.
And then you can just like have that. How much would you have to?
You can have that.
So how much? Like I said, the bowels of East New York. And when I say the bowels of East New York, you know exactly what
I'm
we're
19.
Right.
I'm 19,500 short.
I was
right. Well, no. Here's the thing, right? No, because these are the questions that like regular people like want to know, like
ask.
because you drive past empty lots all the time, and you're like, I know in another 10 years this is, it's always going to appreciate, but in another 10 years, due to gentrification and other factors, right, this may really pay off for me. And I've always said this to myself, like, if I had like the coins, I would just like throw like a certain amount of money here and there and just sort of just kind of like have that.
You think maybe the people that own it don't want to sell it, and because they
no,
know
I don't know
know
that. That's why I'm asking her.
Oh,
no,
okay.
well, what actually happens is if it's residential property, if it's commercial property, you can buy it and then you can lease it to people. You can have a commercial property.
So even if I don't, let's just say I don't have the land itself is worth, make up a number.
300,000.
300,000 for the land, right? That's whatever the size of a storefront. That's in the bowels of East New York, right?
Right.
So, okay, fine. So it's worth 300,000. I have $17,000 that I put down. Now I have this, and then I have a monthly payment of, make up a number if my credit score is decent,
2,500
per month.
Right.
So now I'm paying off on this.
Right.
Okay, I can do what with this next new person, even though I don't own this outright.
Right. Now you can take that particular property and then you can rent it to them for what they might want to open a hair salon, they might want to open a car dealership. They can take that commercial property and do anything they want to do with it.
But now I have to rent this space out to that person for more than the 2,500 that I'm paying per month.
Exactly. This way you pay that off, and then you're making a profit.
That's going to be a bit of a challenge if I'm in the bowels of East New York, because they're going to be looking at it like, bitch, you said 2,500. Okay, but I understand. So I get it.
Exactly.
I understand.
And then again, in terms of real estate, when you're young, that's honestly, when in your 20s, that is the time for you to start thinking about your future.
Absolutely
and
right.
Start saving your money and investing.
Yes,
investing. At 20, you can start. Don't buy $500 sneakers and
Can
$1,000
I just say one really quick thing, and I don't want to cut you short. I don't want to lose my thought when we talk about investing. Right? We hear that word thrown around all the time.
Right.
I don't think that people understand really what investing entails.
Right.
Investing involves you putting your money into something without no guarantee that you're going to get a return on that.
Right.
Okay. I mean, you can try to invest wisely or whatever, and you can do things with low risk, blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, there's no guarantee that you're going to get a return on whatever you invested. But the other thing is, be patient. You understand what I'm saying? Because like you said, look, even if you did have the coins to do what we were just discussing right now, right? And you were able to kind of like ride that wave, okay? I and if I'm wrong, correct me, but I just think that gentrification at some point is going to take hold. Even in the bowels of East New York, it's going to the gentrification tentacles are going to reach out to these places, because there's really nowhere left for these people to go.
Right, and
you understand what I'm saying?
It's already happening.
It's already happening.
It's already happening.
It's already happening. So if you have the coins and you're willing to invest and willing to, like you said, I don't have a problem with people buying expensive sneakers. Do what you do, you.
Right.
But if you want to think long term and you want to think like, okay, what am I going to do? Like, what kind kind of life am I going to have for myself? What kind of life am I going to have for
40
my
and 50,
family
right.
when you're 40 or 50, which is right around the corner? I know you think you're never going to get there, but guess what? You're
You
going to get
will.
there. Okay. So, you know, you have to be business minded. Like the lady who just
Yes.
called in, I admire her so much because she had the fortitude, or the wherewithal rather, to say, look, she was young, obviously,
Right.
and she was just like, nah, fuck that. I'm going to do this. You know what I mean? And it's
I have a
hard
scholarship
when you're
to
young.
stay in,
Right,
when
right.
you're
but they giving me this extra money.
when you're young, it's very hard to think like that. You understand what I'm saying? And this is why I think it's very important for us to focus on younger people in junior high school, and really kind of like drill this point home when they're that age. Stop waiting until these people are in college. Let them understand what the situation is from when they're in junior high school and high school. Then they're going to think differently. Look,
What?
the argument that someone was making when we tried to have this discussion before was, oh, you can tell young people about sex, they're still going to have sex.
Right.
I don't know if that's really a valid argument. I don't know if you can
Well, there's-
compare the fantastic, wonderful, euphoric, great,
But there's
wonderful,
but there's sexual
fantastic
but there's sexual
feeling
there's
of
sexual
sex,
there's sexual
okay?
instruction and
Right.
sexual education.
To understanding the repercussions of you just taking and not understanding that you're going to have to give back and more.
Right.
That's just something that I personally was not taught.
Shannon, let me ask you a question, if I may.
Yes.
I think there may need to be, in the realm of the conversation, an economical or real estate dictionary.
Yes.
Because I myself, I'm like, yo, I don't like a lot of the things that Surf was saying, a lot of the things that Tasha was saying, and the panel was saying, like, these are brand new words.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
But
totally.
we
talked about terminology before,
right? But they have a very simplistic meaning when you break it down.
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
just that
Absolutely.
I don't as much as I think I know, I'm also aware that I don't know
Yes.
shit. So my thing is,
Yeah, I don't
Not
either.
shit, but
no,
everything.
when I say I don't shit, in comparison to, the things that I know is probably 1.1% of the things that there are to know.
Right.
So I don't know it. I just talk about the things I do know, so I appear to make myself seem smart.
No, but you're smart. You're brilliant.
Right, but my thing is, like, can there be an educational class of some sort and just the terminology first? Because when you talk about subprime mortgage, what the hell is subprime mortgage? What the hell is FICO? What
Right.
what
Well,
what do these
can I
things
tell you
mean?
what the reason why I think that may be a bit of a challenge? I just think that as far as as far as the society that we live in, right? It doesn't benefit the people who are poised rather to make, millions or billions of dollars to educate people on what we're discussing right now.
Right.
It's not going to help them out. So that I just really feel like this is a big reason why this is not standard curriculum in schools. It's just not, because Fannie Mae and
Sony
these
Mae,
other
yeah.
the rest of these, or even Capital One and the rest of these financial institutions are not going to benefit if a 15-year-old knows at 15 that I gotta watch what's going on when I get to college.
Right.
I'm not getting no credit card because
Right.
they're gonna try to charge me money. So and this is where the politics come into play. Okay, and people always say, it doesn't really make a difference. You have an office and this and that and stuff like that. It really, really, really does when it comes to things like this. On a micro level. You understand what I'm saying? Again, these are the things that should be taught to young people. This should be part of a standard curriculum. I'm not the only one who's thought of this. Don't get me wrong. I haven't really seen this discussion about, but I can't be the only person who's only thought of this.
Well, I
You
want
understand what I'm
to
saying?
commend you, number one, for even having the thought to say, well, let's have a platform on real estate. Let's have a panel that's well versed and our experts on real estate, because this is something like you just said that people don't really talk about. It's not something that is promoted
until it's time for you to buy a house.
Right. Well, then they give you a crash course on where you need to sign.
Right. You're right.
And then they say, "Oh, don't worry about those things. I'll take care of that because they're I'm your real estate lawyer. You're paying me to do all that. So no need for you to entertain yourself with these little small menial things. Meanwhile, I'm fucking you with no Vaseline.
Exactly.
Because you don't know any better.
Right.
My question to the expertise panel. When it comes down to money. Right? Yeah. Because when I say money, she smiled, right? when it comes down to money, where does your moral? Because here's what people I think will want to know: black man, black woman, power, whatever. Where is your moral standards when it comes down to you doing business within an institution that's not really set up for us as black people to win? You're in already, so you good, right? You got the knowledge. But where is your moral standards? Where is it where you be like, there's a occupational standard, right? Mantra that y'all go by. But then, there's some other shit where you like, hey, yo, bruh, like I said before, let me talk to you when we walk out the building. Let me holler at you. Because there's some shit that you can't talk about around your colleagues.
I get you.
Where's your moral standard lie? And where's your line?
Well, I wouldn't say there's a line. It's like I always strive to be a person of moral, ethical character. I try to do things by the books. But then also understanding history and understanding how certain things are.
Whose books?
the
you
books.
See how look to your left. You say I should know looking at you? And she like, well, whose books, motherfucker?
No, I mean, how old are you?
I'm 27.
Okay.
Oh,
that explains it. But go ahead, continue.
So, one of the
when
things.
you're 37, you're going to be giving a fuck about nobody books, but go ahead.
I get you.
Okay, cool.
So, it's one of those things where. Do you guys remember PTA meetings? Parent-teacher association meetings? I used to hate that my mom would always go to them, right? But now that I'm older, I understand why. Because the purpose of a PTA meeting is to inform the general public of what's going on in the school, what's being taught in the curriculum, things of that nature. Right. So the equivalent to the PTA board would be a community board. Every single neighborhood in New York City has a community board. In these community boards, they discuss what's going on in the neighborhood, what new businesses are coming in, what new developments will take place. As you know, black people always like to show up late to the party, right? So we will show up when
to the show.
Like Serve said, when the wings and whiskey is gone, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we will wait until the project is already starting, say, oh, you guys can't do this. When they don't realize to get a permit approved in New York City takes forever. To get zoning changes approved, it takes forever. Yeah. So this is like a 5 to 7 year process, and you're coming in year 8 trying to stop it. Yeah. Where was your enthusiasm the whole time? Right. So
how privy are they to the information?
It's public access. It's public access.
No, but that's the thing, though. It's understanding the importance of trying to even seek out this information, or even people don't even understand. But like you said, you understand this, okay? But a lot of people just feel helpless. They just don't even understand the process at all. That's why I just go back to, certain things being taught to you at a younger age. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like when you get to a certain age, no, I can do this. You understand what I'm saying? But I just think that the system is set up for. I don't want to sound so cheesy and say the system is set up for us to fail, right? I don't want to sound so cheesy and say that. But it's just that this type of information should be fed to us. We shouldn't have to seek out this type of information.
Exactly.
And you can't look down on somebody because they're ignorant of a situation when they didn't even know that there was even this existed in the first place.
An avenue to travel where you can find this information.
Exactly.
I agree. I would say it all really breaks down to a mind state and mentality, because a lot of people I've met, right, when I used to be a personal banker, I honestly took the time to give people free consultations. I mean, I don't get paid anything extra for that. That was one of my moral, ethical duties.
That's
right?
dope of you.
So
you do taxes too?
Nah, brother, I'm not. I can send you to someone who does it.
I'm just saying. But me point this out. When I lower my voice and I lower my tone purposely to infer like the homeboy hookup, and I say, yo, you do taxes? He's like, no, my brother. He said, I thought you said we wasn't gonna talk about that.
You see that shows that my ethical moral standards are always on point, brother.
Right. Tip top shit. Tip top.
Or you don't fuck with snitches. Either you want to word it. I want to ask a question, right? As a young black lady in the business of finance and in the business, you are faced with, I think, I don't want to project, but you're faced with sexism. You're faced with sexualism, right? I'm pretty much sure some guy has offered you something, trying to persuade you to do X, Y, Z.
Todd always trying to make shit sexual.
No, but
because that's a fucking question.
No, because in the life that we live in the life that we
It's the atmosphere.
In the life that we live, I have to ask how she's responded, because I know it's happening, because I know men.
Right.
So I know dudes that got money.
Because you're one of them niggas.
That's trying to sell. I ain't got no money. That's trying to sell shit, and she's the broker.
Right.
Oh, you the broker? Oh, okay. Let me try to, pull one over on you, or try to be slick because you're a woman.
Right.
They fucking with the wrong one.
How do you handle that?
Well, how I handle that specifically is, if they qualify, they qualify. And if they don't, they simply do not. So if your credit sucks, if your credit is 2, you're not getting an apartment from me.
So Willie Dynamite can't take you to dinner at Ruth Chris or Peter Lucas, and ain't nothing happening.
Absolutely not, because the worst thing I could do is give a landlord a bad tenant.
True.
I'm not going
Because
to
that landlord's not going to want to fuck with you no more after that.
I won't get another referral or anything at all.
But see, here's my point.
Right.
It's because people tend to think that because we are black, or we all of the same hue,
Right.
right? You my people,
I hear it all the time. Yeah, you could do something for me,
you're
sister, blah,
supposed
blah, blah.
to do something. Or they think that you're the inside woman, or I got you, or they think because they have a certain amount of money or power or influence
Right.
that automatically you're supposed to
gonna
go
happen.
for it.
Right.
So your professional etiquette means a lot to you.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm trying to get people to understand, and for you to illustrate that in the midst of shits and giggles,
Right.
you are still professional.
We still have to do our job. You have some landlords that are real easy, and then you have other landlords that want your firstborn to get an apartment, to get a $1,500 apartment. It's not even renovated. They want your firstborn, 5 years of, tax returns. They want credit report over 700. They want $50,000 income for a damn room.
Right.
Like,
Damn,
dude, seriously, it's not that serious. But we do have a lot of that. So we have some easy landlords, and then we have a lot of landlords that are simply pain in the asses.
So let me ask you a really quick question, right?
Sure.
Because I wanted to address the whole Section 8 situation. Right?
Yes, please.
There's a real stigma attached to Section 8 applicants.
All of them.
And I would like for you to sort of kind of like delve into why the stigma exists to begin with, right? And I'm going to preface this by saying, I don't know if that stigma is fair, but I could be wrong. Okay, so why that stigma exists, and your challenges, to overcoming, finding landlords who are willing to rent to these people that are going to get guaranteed bread. Right. You understand what I'm saying? So just kind of explore that if you can.
Okay. You gotta put the camera back on me.
Yeah.
Oh, ain't she vain? I'm talking. The camera's on the woman that's talking. I'm gonna turn around. I was telling people to call in.
Okay.
See that?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Okay. See, that's why them dudes.
Section 8
that's why they be
other,
trying to take
Section
you out
8,
the lunch.
Section 8 is not the only
Section 8,
government
soda,
subsidized.
HASA,
Right. Exactly.
City Fabs.
Right.
So
I could get Section 7.
What the fuck?
No. But again, those are not the only government subsidized programs.
So there are a lot of different programs. So what happened is, you have a lot of landlords that don't want to take those programs. First, it's the city. So let's say I got a Section 8 tenant, and she complains about the window sill or anything simple like that. The city actually holds back the landlord's checks.
Excuse me.
Sometimes 3 months, 6 months,
right.
Sometimes up to a year.
There we go.
And the landlords do not get their money. Meanwhile, they're depending on that tenant to pay their mortgage.
Until they fix it.
Until they fix it. Right.
So that's where it is.
Right. That's the first thing. Then you have a lot of tenants that don't even complain don't even tell the landlord that they have issues. They just, go and report it. Go and report it to the city.
That's
So now
good.
that ties up the landlord's money. And then you also have a lot of people that, on those programs, SODA, HASA, Section 8, that because it's kind of like free money handed to them, they don't take care of people's properties.
Right.
They bust the holes in the walls.
So wait. Let me ask you a
Value
quick
depreciation.
question
Wait, let me
before we
finish.
go any further.
Yeah.
I want to know, and I want an honest answer.
Yeah, sure.
What's the ratio of people of landlords who just don't want the headache of the government or the state rather
Right.
not giving them their bread,
Right.
as opposed to the tenants who are just in there like trashing the fucking property. Like
Right.
I want to know the honest answer to that.
Well, you know what? Honestly, I would say that it's maybe 70% of the tenants, because it was handed to them. They didn't have to work for it. It's going to be free. But you have some, working Section 8, people as well. They have an income and they just
Right.
get a little extra help. But for the majority, a lot of people that are on those programs, they abuse these landlords' properties. So a lot of them don't want to take them. And aside from the city, jerking them around, not sending their rent on time, they can tie them up for months and months and months in court. And meanwhile, the landlord is like, I need this money to pay my mortgage.
Who
you know?
regulates that though? Is there an agency that regulates
Yes. So let's say if you
liaison
have,
to someone?
yes, you have, the supervisors of Section 8. They come out, they look at the properties.
Yeah, they do. They check every
They
once in
check
a while to
everything,
make
right.
sure
Yeah,
that
they
everything
check
is
and see.
tip top or whatever.
Yeah, they check and
they
see
do.
everything.
They really, really do.
Yes, and if, let's say if they don't have the proper lighting in the hallway or a proper socket, to hold the refrigerator, they find these landlords.
But on the
They
flip
find
side, if
landlords
the
for
tenant
everything.
though, if the tenant isn't doing what they're supposed to do too,
Yes.
they can kick them off of Section 8 as well. So like
Yes.
if they, let's just say they have an air conditioner
Right.
in their unit after October, make up a date 17th or
right.
whatever, that's like an issue. Like they can like really be penalized for that.
Right.
And then after a certain amount of infractions, they can like lose their Section 8 privileges.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I
Yes,
want to ask a question. In recent news, there's been a big thing about NYCHA,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I want to ask the question because I have no idea. How much corruption do you think? Oh, don't you start with
No,
sucking.
I mean,
you're sucking your teeth.
because it's
You sucking your
massive, but I'm
teeth.
going to let the experts.
Yeah, I
answer.
want to know how much corruption do you think is involved with NYCHA, HUD, and these particular, housing industries? Because a lot of the things that are happening, I'm not gonna say a lot than some. That's contradictory. Many complaints about agencies that are supposed to regulate housing standards, right, are valid.
Yeah.
They're valid. As a lending institution, as a woman that, and I say woman specifically, that you encounter a lot of single women
Right.
that may be custodial parents,
Right.
and it's just them and the child, right? And so you may or may not have a particular connection. How do you feel about the bureaucracy, the BS that comes along with the industry that you two are involved in?
Well, personally, I think that a lot of the supervisors that are supposed to supervise people that are going out, checking apartments, checking holes in the walls, checking the regulations, checking the lighting, like checking the things that should be done in those apartments, they assume that their workers are doing it. And then they don't go check behind them. And then meanwhile, all of that money that's supposed to go into housing and supposed to go into the groundkeeping and all those things, a lot of that money is going to people on the top that are just simply banking that money. Honestly, yeah. A lot of them are just banking that money and not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
What do you think?
Okay, brother,
So-
you're not under any type of indictment.
Nah, I understand.
It's no Tekashi 6ix9ine
Right.
going on here.
But I can freely
I'm just
talk because I
not
work
surprised.
for a broker. I can freely talk shit.
So,
And you from Brooklyn.
Right.
Don't leave me hanging.
So what I'll say as a real estate salesperson, right? With the whole NYCHA issue, everything that's going on, NYCHA is funded by HUD. HUD is, the government program that deals with everything in regards to low to moderate income housing across the nation. So with funds being cut to HUD, and those funds are affecting, the way they operate, especially with NYCHA. one of the things that they got in trouble for, as you guys were stating earlier, there's a lot of complaints, a lot of issues, a lot of work not being done. When the inspectors were coming, right? And this is actually, you can look this up on the news. A specific complex got in trouble because they were doing things ahead of the inspectors. So they'll be like, oh, they're in building 7, so turn on the water, turn on this, do this.
Yeah.
So they were doing that, and they ended up getting caught for that.
Right.
So, you know, I feel like they need to do better with the oversight. But then you also got to keep in mind a lot of the people that happens to be on these forms of public assistance are, you know, Black and brown people.
Right.
And
right. Well, here.
Yeah, here.
Here,
across the
in New
nation,
York.
you know, there's similar stuff across the nation, but then
Right,
demographic
but I mean,
changes.
well, I mean, you know, I mean, we're a minority in
Yeah,
this country,
exactly.
so I mean, we're just talking about specifically here in New York, and
Right.
you know, in this area, in the tri-state area, but just in you know, but across the country, it's completely different.
Right.
So I just want to just clarify that.
Yeah, of course, of
Okay.
course.
So the other thing that I wanted to ask was you guys are, you know, aggressive. You guys are, you know, brilliant. You guys are, you know, successful. And I just wanted to kind of like, because we're coming into like the last portion of the show, so I kind of wanted to like shine the spotlight on you guys, right? What do you think? And I'll ask you first. What do you think separates you from other agents, just in general? Like, why would someone say, okay, I'm going to Joshua? I'm going to say, okay, I would like Joshua to help me find a house or find an apartment or a room or anything like that. What would you say separates you from other people, other agents?
Well, I try to be a person of integrity because, as you understand, sales is like a really kind of like a cutthroat business.
Okay.
So a lot of people will try to steal, you know, your clients. A lot of people will try to do things to kind of mess up what you have going for yourself. So I try to be a person of integrity, and being a person of integrity is I'm making genuine connections with my landlords or my clients.
Okay.
So from establishing that genuine connection, I'm able to, you know, be always considered for stuff. There's something called mindshare. It's a sales concept called mindshare, and all the top producing salespeople have a certain amount of mindshare. So when there's certain things that us as consumers or, you know, the consumer group is trying to do, there's 1 to 2 people who automatically come to mind. So as an agent, I want to be able to get some of that mind share where based off of my work and based off of the referral basis that, you know, I've been able to acquire, they understand how I'm able to operate. They understand my standards, and they understand that I'll give them the best of, you know. I'm able to do what I'm able to do.
I like that. I like that. That's awesome. All right.
Kudos.
Angela, what about you?
Oh, well, that's pretty easy because I've been in a lot of situations myself where I
Oh
made
Lord!
it.
Why do I have to preface this with "Oh Lord"?
Why you talking about me like that? You wrong for that. So, I've been in situations myself where I've had hard times in the past getting apartments for a lot of different reasons, you know. So I know what it's like to need a place to live, you know. And then I deal with a lot of landlords that, you know, give people a hard time for the simplest reasons. Some not be on their credit report, or, you know, a landlord tenant issue, you know, that they've had in the past, you know. So you really can't always judge a person by what's happened in their past, because you don't know. Yeah, they could have been gentlemen, you know, who just went through a divorce, a massive divorce. He lost his house, and now he has to start all over again. He got to pay child support. He got to pay alimony.
Right, terrible.
The house is going into a foreclosure. The wife is just living there. She don't want to pay the bills. The house is in his name. It's not in her name. So of course that messes up his credit. You know. So then it's just for me to find people a place to live, like all the Section 8 people I have, all the soda people that I have, you know, that need housing, you know, because it's real out here. And you have, you know, people that really, you know, people go from sugar to shit overnight.
Yes, you always say that.
You understand? I always say that, you know, so people always need a place to live. And then I just think that, you know, you have a lot of landlords, you know, that are harder than they need to be for people that really need help. Like the situation is real out here. You got mothers, you got pregnant mothers, you got families that need a place to live. If the person has a job, they have a decent credit score, like give them a place to live, you know, because that's the saddest thing is like, shit, tomorrow I might have to live in a shelter, you know. So I try to help as many people as I can within reason, you know, you know what I mean? Like You have some landlords that we know we can call them and say, okay, I got this lady, she's in this situation, her credit score is not great, but XYZ, she has an income, she's dedicated, you know, she got 3, 4 children, she's gonna pay her bills, you know. Because it's really a sad thing to think that you're gonna be sleeping on a box outside, you know, and it's real because we see it all the time, you know.
No, totally. I've always said that you're one tragedy away from being that person who talks to themselves on the train. And I'm not even talking about one paycheck away, one tragedy away, because you can be working and you can have gainful employment, but you don't know how a loved one's death is going to affect you mentally or psychologically. You understand what I'm saying?
How are you going to react to tragedy?
How are you going to react to tragedy? Maybe you don't show up for work for a couple of days. It's a trickle-down effect. And before you know it, and it's February, and in March, you really don't have a place to stay.
Right.
I want to say, either one of y'all 3 could have ran for public advocate, because hear me out, because I wanted to understand exactly what the hell a public advocate was in terms of that position, you know, in terms of office. And it was, I discovered that I had a friend that was an assistant to what's her name? Tish Adams, I think. Letitia, right? She was her personal assistant. And I would ask her certain questions about what's her off time like? What does she think about? What does she do? And she was like, yeah, she's really dedicated to the wrongdoings, right? And in this conversation, we're talking about, or putting on the table, about the wrongdoings of things that happen within the real estate industry, financial, economic things. And you have brought up some very, very strong points about things that were set up for us to not advance, or we're not privy to certain. You had said that we're not privy to certain information.
No, we're not.
You feel me?
Starts from when you're young,
and you say it shouldn't have to. We have to seek it. How come it's not already there?
Right. That's intentional, though.
Right. But what you 3 are doing, because this is your show and I'm just co-hosting you. Okay. No, my thing is because this is public advocacy. Because you're imploring people to say, hey, come listen, come check this out. We're giving you information to benefit you. Like, nobody here is actually benefiting from this, because nobody's saying, give me money and I'll tell you. No. Nobody's selling.
We all have a place to stay.
Right? No, but
nobody,
nobody's selling a book. See, people will tell you.
Nothing like that.
She wants something from it, right?
All you need to know is right here in my book. And
yeah, it's just a matter of I don't want someone else to go through whatever I went through, what I went through.
And what I see on a daily
and what
basis.
I've seen, and having to worry about paying back student loans on top of credit card bills.
Right.
And I didn't need to have those credit card bills. You understand what I'm saying? When I was younger, I didn't need to go to that desk at that foyer at LIU.
But the thing,
what I mean? I didn't need to do that. And if somebody would have spoken to me, I wouldn't. I don't know if I would have done it or not, but I would have had the knowledge.
More aware of it.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And not every child who receives sex ed in school has unprotected sex. There are a lot of them who don't.
Who do listen, right.
You understand what I'm saying? So,
right. But the thing about you, Chanel, what I want to highlight pertaining to this particular show is whatever you may not have known, you brought in the experts. See, some people will claim to be like, well,
I know it all.
I know this and I know that. I heard this and I got a family member. No. This is what they do. And you brought in the experts. Well, if you know, if it's 5 questions, and you know 3, and I know 2, you're the expert.
Really quickly,
how it is.
I wanted to sort of also touch on. So we did the government subsidized programs and stuff like that. I kind of want to get into the whole gentrification situation, okay? And I want to definitely explore that, probably for probably the rest of the show, right? What are the challenges that the specific challenges that you guys are seeing? And I'm asking specifically from a standpoint or viewpoint of people of color.
Right.
What are the specific challenges that you guys are having to overcome with such an influx of others coming into the community? And look, I'm saying this because it's not even like I'm trying to even be shady, right?
No,
but at the end of the day,
it's a real question.
At the end of the day, we understand that once certain people, enter a certain community, things change. You know what I mean? the markets change. You know what I mean? The things in the supermarket change.
Right.
You understand? There are so many different changes, and I think that we really need to have a real discussion about this, because I don't think that people really understand what really takes place. You know, and part of the reason why I want to have this conversation is there was a huge backlash when it came to Amazon not coming to Queens.
Right.
Okay. And people were very upset about that. They were up in arms about this and stuff like that. And I understand why people were upset, because they kept throwing the 27,000 jobs around. They kept throwing that around. 27,000 jobs, 27,000 jobs. Amazon.
Right.
No one's talking about who's going to be getting these jobs. No one's talking about the kind of jobs that they're going to be getting. Okay, and there are a lot of people here in the in Long Island City. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's where they want to put it. Long Island City. I don't see a lot of tech guys there that are going to be filling up those. I'm familiar with Long Island City.
Yeah,
You
right,
are.
right.
Everyone here is, right?
Yeah.
I want to know who are the people. And don't get me wrong. It's not only going to be tech guys, right? But the people who are going to be making those six figures.
Right.
And I'm not talking about the baggage people, the handlers, the people who are coming to work and they making $15 or maybe $20 an hour. I'm talking about the people who are making the big bread.
Right.
Okay? Do you have those people in that community? Putting Amazon there, what would having that massive, you know, what would it do to that community? And not even only Long Island City. The tentacles are going to reach far out.
Right,
You understand
right,
what I'm saying? So I obviously I have a bias, so I'm going to stop now. I'm going to shut the fuck up and let you guys just sort of discuss, you know, gentrification just in general. Like I said, you know, just what does it mean to you? What are the challenges that you're facing now?
You want to go first?
You can go first.
Okay,
Go
so
ahead.
yeah, I'll go first. So, gentrification is such a complex topic. And the reason being, if you actually take the time to study how gentrification works, like you said earlier, how people that are living in specific areas, low to moderate income areas, are, you know, below the poverty line, things of that nature, they were specifically put there for a reason. So when gentrification basically comes around, they're displacing them again, because there's an abundance of places that you can actually set up shop. There's neighborhoods that, you know, don't have such big populations, but they always focus on the area that has high concentrations of black and brown people. So when it comes to gentrification, you have to really keep in mind that it's not something that just happened. You really have to look back and see what happened in the past to lead up into this moment.
Okay.
Because a lot of neighborhoods that were that are predominantly black and Latino in New York City at one point in time weren't even black and Latino neighborhoods. They were either Jewish neighborhoods, they were poor Italian neighborhoods, things of that nature. It's just with everything that was going on, we just happened to be put in the mix, and then they left, and now they're back.
Right.
So one of the biggest challenges is that basically as neighborhoods get gentrified, the people in low to moderate income areas, they can't even qualify for anything. They basically get pushed right out. They don't have the means or the income to even sustain themselves. Even if they have more than one person that's working in the household, it's just based off of, you know, inflation, the cost of money, things, everything is just basically just beating down on them to the point where they have to do what they have to do to survive. So I feel like gentrification is a multifaceted system where it's just not what's going on the face level. You have to understand the economic perspective. You have to understand the social perspective. You have to understand how it's intricately tied into so many different things. We can't just look at it from one lens.
You're right. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Josh pretty much covered it.
Okay.
I'm just saying truth to power.
No, it's the truth. He definitely hit the nail that's right in the
Right on the head.
yeah.
Right on the
I was
head.
gonna use another word, but yeah.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
so, you know, going back to what I was saying earlier about the whole Amazon situation, right? And fuck it, I'll just be, you know, partisan and just tell, you know, just say how I feel. Like, I'm glad they're not here. I'm glad. I mean, you'd have to be like a sadist to not want more jobs here.
Right.
Obviously you do.
Right.
But there's a reason why you had so many, community activists and people
Against
rallying against it. Like,
Right.
and these are the people who are fighting for jobs, fighting for equal pay, fighting for equality, fighting for
Can I ask you,
everything.
what was the disadvantage of having Amazon coming into?
Well, I kind of just said it. I said it already. Like, you don't have enough, people who are skilled to get those high, paying positions that are going to be there. Number one. Number two,
Crowd in the
once
streets,
you
the
have
neighborhood.
Amazon there, that's going to shoot the
Small business
it's
owner
going-
for one.
all those, that's a
So it's
fact.
going-
that's a given. But it's more. Hold on a second.
gonna destroy
But wait,
the
there's
surrounding
more.
areas?
Yeah. Right. So
High traffic.
Yeah. Oh my God. Please. There's so
Right.
many. There's so many things. So you don't have the people who are going to be getting those high paying jobs. You might have maybe a couple of people that are there that are engineers, that are, you know what I mean, that are qualified. And I'm engineer is just one position, but the people who really have that high level of education,
Expertise, right?
Expertise.
But do we
that are
know
but wait,
who
that-
won't have that? Like,
hold
how
on a second. You only have a certain percentage. And guess what? The people who were fighting against this have those numbers. I don't. Okay. But I'm just going off of common sense. Okay. You don't have that amount of people there in the area where they were going to be that would benefit that community. Okay, that's number one. So you're talking about the people who are going to be earning not the $20 or $15 an hour, the people who are going to be earning the $85,000, $110,000
let me
per
ask
hour.
this-
That's
let-
number one.
Let me ask this question: what exactly was the function of the Amazon plant or company? Because I don't know. Because, like, if you say to me, or if a Walmart opens up in that particular area, it's going to affect the mom and pop stores, and I would
No,
agree
it
with you
is.
wholeheartedly.
No, it
So
totally is.
if Amazon, if it's and I'm just asking, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
if it's a distribution center, if it's somewhere. Or if it's a particular business that's going to displace the need for all the mom and pop and all the other small businesses, I'm against it because they've been there working hard doing their thing for 10, 20 years. And now here's come this big conglomerate, and now we don't need to shop or spend our money with you small guys, and we're going here.
Yes, no, it definitely would displace those mom and pop places. It would be one of their headquarters.
Right.
As
Understand what I'm saying?
a distribution spot or as
Yes,
a retail spot?
Anytime you talk about just look at it like this. They're talking about 27,000 jobs. So there's your answer. You understand what I'm saying?
I'm saying, and I'm not being facetious. I'm saying it because I really don't know, because you have retail, you have commercial, you have different aspects of business. Where if you own,
But it would
If you-
cover it would cover all of that.
let's say
Todd.
you
It would cover all of
let's
that.
say if you own Shinoa's Soul Food,
Yeah.
right, and you're doing good business, right,
Shinoa
and
can
they and they
Right,
and
right,
they
right.
and
And
they
then we'll
want
talk about that
and they want
soon.
and they want to open up a huge mall, right, where inside the mall they're gonna have a food court, which will take away from the majority of your earnings.
No, but let me answer your question. So yes, it would be all of that. You understand what I'm saying? Because in order for them to grow, you can't just have Amazon in one state. You have to have Amazon in order for them to continue with their business model as far as being able to ship things overnight or ship things same day
You have to
and
have
stuff
other
like that.
hubs.
You got to have other hubs. So that would be a major place there in Long Island City. Okay, the problem is what we previously
Oh,
discussed.
she's asking you to talk
You
into
know
the
what I'm
mic a
saying?
little bit.
The problem is what we previously the problem is what we previously
Think that
discussed.
did it?
Okay, so look again. Nobody wants to take jobs away from the neighborhood. Nobody wants to do that. Like again, you'd have to be a sadist to say, okay, I don't want jobs to come to the community. But it's the type of jobs that would be benefiting the people who are there. You understand? Why the fuck you're gonna have a bunch of implants coming in from other states? You understand? Getting those six-figure, those high-paying jobs are going to be people that don't fucking even live there. The fuck you mean? Oh, it's good for the community. No, nigga, they not even fucking getting people from here. And here's the thing, unfortunately, maybe you don't have enough people who are qualified. And you understand what I'm saying? But okay, oh well, so then now you got to go put it some fucking where else. You understand? And again, the tentacles are going to reach out to the neighboring communities. You understand what I'm saying? The other thing is, if you have a smaller businesses, you understand what I'm saying? They're going to take a direct hit. And now the property value is going to shoot up. The people who live there probably are living paycheck to paycheck. They can't even afford not even one paycheck's worth of drama. Not even one. And I'm going to say one more thing as far as this shutdown taught me. Okay? It taught me. And I've always said this, and I've always thought about this. And the shutdown didn't affect me directly in terms of my paycheck because I don't work for TSA. I didn't, you know what I mean? I don't work for the government or anything like that. But I saw what happened with people who were relying on living paycheck to paycheck.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Or the government shut down.
Yes. Okay. And there, that first paycheck, there was a big thing. You know, oh my goodness, I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills. By the second paycheck, people are talking about selling their car.
Right.
Whoa.
Yeah.
No.
For real?
Yes, Todd.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I really wasn't
they
aware.
really were. They really were.
Paycheck to
But I'm going
paycheck
to tell
is
you the
rough.
reason
It's
why.
rough.
I mean, there are many reasons why people are living and thinking this way.
Wow.
Okay. One of the reasons is we've been conditioned to think and live this way. We have been conditioned to think and live this way from paycheck to paycheck. People do not have the importance of saving money instilled in them from a young age. You understand what I'm saying? You start thinking about retirement maybe when you're at 25 or 30 years old. You understand? If that. Okay? It's something that I tell my daughter. I tell my daughter's boyfriend all the time. I'm constantly drilling it into them, into them. What's going on with the 401k at your job? What are you doing? How are you saving? You guys are 20, 21 years old right now. You should be saving. You're not even going to miss that money. I'm constantly drilling it into them because I wasn't taught that. I was not taught that. I was not taught that. I wasn't taught that. So I'm constantly drilling it into them all the time, all the time.
Right.
So now you have people who don't think about, I have a skill that I can utilize that will shield me from, God forbid, something happens to me at my job. I have something else to fall back on. You understand what I'm saying? And this is something that we spoke about on the other show that I'm on. And, you know, I wanted to make a hashtag, what are you good at? If you're good at something, you need to be doing that fucking shit. Like, you need to be doing it. No, I'm dead ass. You need to fucking do it. If you know how to braid hair, you need to be braiding hair on the side. You don't have spare time. You really, really don't. Your spare time should be maybe a day or something that you have to relax for yourself. And then if you have hours extra in the day as opposed to watching TV or just fucking bullshitting, you should be utilizing that spare time to amassing your own personal wealth. And it's not even from a capitalistic standpoint, okay, or a greedy standpoint. I'm not saying it like that. It's from a survival standpoint because we're living under a capitalist society. You understand what I'm saying? And you have to think to yourself, again, what if something happens? Where the fuck are you going to be? It's you got to be in survival mode all the time. So if there's something that you're good at, make sure you fucking doing that shit. You understand what I'm saying? And don't wait to live paycheck to paycheck. You've been taught to think, I got to go to work 9 to 5. I pay my bills. Maybe I have $150 left over. Maybe I have $300 left over every check. Then I might spend this. I might go on vacation. This is how we've been trained and conditioned to think. We got to get out of that mindset. We have to get out of that mindset. And you already know about a side hustle. You got to have a side hustle.
That's why I got like 5.
Right. You understand what I'm saying? This is all I'm saying. This is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And honestly, with your conditioning statement, I just wanted to add my little 2 cents.
Yes, please.
So everybody's familiar with the analogy, the crab in the barrel mentality. Anytime.
Yeah, I mean, how accurate is that though? But anyway, go on.
So what I was going to build upon it is that, you know, everyone likes to just say that aimlessly and mindlessly, forgetting that the barrel is not a crab's natural habitat. They had to be conditioned to be in a barrel.
Thank you. Exactly. Please. Oh my gosh. Thank you.
Wow. Exactly.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
No, because I'm tired of hearing the same analogy. That's why I was like huffing and puffing, like you're going to say that again. But no, you're absolutely right. Thank you.
Right.
So
Thank you.
if it's not the natural habitat, understand the natural habitat of a crab and go back to that.
Thank you.
Right. Yeah.
Stop.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
So with our people, the conditioning thing is something that's going to be challenging to get over. But once we get past that hump, things are going to be much different.
Yes.
Because we will no longer need to convince each other that this is important. Like you said, we don't have time to waste.
Yes.
The time is now.
Yes.
Wow. I want to
Yes.
ask you a question as it relates to age
Mhm.
and purported experience because you're 1 year older than my daughter, right?
Oh, wow.
But in no way do I see you as inferior in intellect. You feel me?
Not at all.
Because of your age, it's just that's just you were born in.
That's a plus, though,
you
right
were born,
now.
You were born in, 93, whatever.
92,
whatever.
yeah.
92, whatever. Okay, because my daughter will be 27. But anyway, but a lot of times within the field, right, people will discriminate because of how old you are, and it's something called personal incredulity. It's a lot of people don't understand what the hell that is. Personal incredulity is where someone purports that, well, if I can't figure out or understand how this
How the
shit
fuck
goes
is
down,
he?
how the fuck could you
Right.
understand or know it
At his
because
age, right.
because you're younger than me?
Yeah, but that should be personal ignorance right
Right.
there.
Yeah, no,
because you
it-
can't assume that somebody doesn't
No,
know some
it
shit.
is, but you know, some people
Yeah.
will be
They
like,
do.
well,
They really do.
in the math, it manifests in the saying or the mantra, how the fuck you know? You feel me?
And that's actually allowed me to get a lot of opportunities.
But
That's what it's about.
no, but as a young man,
underestimating you.
as a young man, when you walk into a closing or whatever the case may be, and they look like, and they're like, yo, who, you know, and they underestimate your intelligence or expertise in your field. How do you deal with that and persevere? Because a lot of times people will be really dejected and say, you know what? I can't deal with this. I don't want to,
Yeah,
it's
that's
too
very
bad.
true.
How do you, as a young man, not just a young black man, just a young man, still persevere and say, listen, in spite of all the BS, because you may be smarter than your supervisor at one point in time,
Yeah. I've had situations like
I'm
that.
sure.
right? But
I'm
right.
sure.
So my
I'm
point,
sure.
my point is, how do
He
you
heard that. He probably heard that.
how do you deal with that, and how do you use that? You know, and just how do you navigate?
It's
He can hit on the mic for real?
it's
Of course.
it's I say it really breaks down to emotional intelligence. I would say going back 3 to 4 years ago, I didn't even know what that was. And emotional intelligence is literally taking the time to be able to assess your emotions and being detached from them. So as people, we tend to make a lot of decisions based on emotion. So practicing detachment, it allows me to be able to become aware of how I am feeling, but then I can choose what course of action I want to take. So there's a lot of times where people may try to insult me or try to do things based on my age, but then I just take it as, okay, let me just take the time to pay attention, because you're going to slip up eventually. And when you slip up, that's where I come in.
You on it,
Gotcha.
exactly.
I'm on it.
Gotcha.
So
I love it.
You know what? I'm to all y'all listening, watching. She's a prey. She's a prey. She's a prey. She
Why
got
you say that?
because you got that. Yeah, what and bring it type of attitude that says to your client that if you were with your client and you were approaching a situation and someone tries to get over on your client via you representation.
Right.
Hold on. I got this. Like you the type of like, I got this.
Right.
And then you and that person step off into the thing, and your client will be like, is everything okay? Don't worry about nothing. We good. Like you
Exactly.
got that look.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
You got that look.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, Shanoa guys, that she know.
Well, she got that
hold
too.
on. No, she doesn't have the look. She has the whole persona. If I was to ever go into a meeting where I had to negotiate something, I would be like, listen, Shanoa, I need you to just be there. But here's my thing. You can't threaten them.
You can't do this. You can't do
Right? Try not to curse.
Don't stab 'em.
Like try try not to curse, right? We're gonna try to be diplomatic. If I give you the eye, that means turn the aggression on.
Right.
But like, because she is the person that I know in a business sense, right? That knows what she wants from a potential client, right? From someone that you're doing business with, period, and she's gonna stand her ground and not be like, they're not gonna walk over.
For sure, right.
You feel me? And I think that as real estate brokers and service people, the element of me being a layman or anyone being a laywoman saying, well, hey, listen, I need help. We have to place our trust in you.
Absolutely.
Right.
So really quickly, so we only have maybe like 5 minutes
Yeah,
left.
something
So
else I wanna say
what I
too,
wanted,
and-
what
yeah.
okay, I won't
go ahead,
forget.
yeah.
So I just want to just ask, so for people who are thinking about getting into the business, right? Look, here's the thing. One thing that I really noticed when it comes to sales, just in general, people think that like I can do it, just because like you don't really need certain, like, you know what I mean, documentation or certain whatever to fucking do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you need a real estate license, and you need certain things, but you know, you don't need like a PhD to be a real estate agent.
Right.
And they're just really under the misapprehension that it's just fucking easy and anybody can do
It's
it and
not,
stuff
right.
like it. Really
Right,
is
it's
not.
not.
I
No,
mean,
it's not.
absolutely not.
Right.
It's not even easy to be a waiter.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, it's such a challenging career, and you really need to have so many ducks in a motherfucking row.
Yes.
In order to be successful.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
It really is imperative. So, what I just want to kind of ask, you know, really quickly, just if you could tell me, just like a minute, if you had any advice for somebody who is really trying to break into the business, what would you say to them?
There's a lot of things I could give advice on, but since I had to bring it down to like a minute, I would say you need. This is a little acronym that I came up with, or I probably heard it a while ago, but it stuck with me. You need a BFF. And what is a BFF? You need belief, you need faith, and you need fruition. First, you need to have the belief that you're actually capable of doing it, and you need to have faith. You know, for all the people who are religious out there, there's a saying that says faith without works is dead. So you can't just believe in something and have faith and then just expect shit to magically happen. That has never happened anywhere in the universe. So as long as you have the belief, the faith is when you're actually taking the action, and the fruition is when you see, you know, the first two.
Labor.
Yeah, exactly. The fruits of your labor come to
Does
fruition.
faith equate to confidence?
It can, in a sense, because just the fact faith is like this. I'm trying to think of a simple
Faith
way
is-
to state
faith
it. But
exactly
faith
is the
like a
acceptance.
powerful-
Is the acceptance of something void of proof.
Exactly.
So that's why I asked you, can it be equated to confidence?
It
Because
can be.
I don't have to have faith in Shanoa. I have confidence in Shanoa based upon Shanoa's previous actions.
Yeah, so I think it honestly can be equated to faith because, as you said, it's almost one and the same. Just the fact that you believe, you know, just the fact that you know she's capable of doing this, you're confident in her skills, you have faith that she can actually get this done.
Right.
And the thing is that faith is stronger than belief, in my opinion, because you could believe something all you want. If you don't have faith that it's going to come,
It's gonna happen. Right?
that it's going to happen, it's not going to happen.
Gotcha.
Well,
We're gonna go on. Shanoa.
Yeah, no.
Stop.
Can
We're
I
gonna-
mean,
we're
as
gonna go on.
far
We're
as
gonna go on
faith
to another
is
show.
concerned, you could make the argument that you have faith. You have faith in yourself that it's going to happen, or you have faith in a higher being that they're somehow going to hook you up and help you out with that. But that's another story for
Yeah,
another
just
day.
say that's another
show, damn it.
So I would pose the same question to you.
me.
Yes.
What was the question again?
What kind of advice would you give someone that is trying to break into the business? Like,
Right, okay, got it.
what would you say to them?
Okay. Well, first, if you're trying to get into the real estate business, you have to understand that it takes a lot of patience. Dealing with landlords and also dealing with tenants. You have a lot of clients that come in Monday and then want an apartment on Tuesday.
Yeah.
You know, so that doesn't happen.
That's exciting, though.
Yes, it is. So I work 24/7.
Yeah,
I'm
I
on
know.
Facebook 2:00 in the morning. I'm
Woo.
on Facebook 3:00 in the morning.
Yes.
Yes. It's a constant grind. It's like it's a constant
I love
hustle.
it. I
you
love
know.
it.
So in saying that, like right now, I have about 60 people I need to place.
I'm sure you do.
60.
Yes.
And by the time I go on my phone, I probably
love
have
the idea of that.
another 60. Right.
Yes.
So in saying that, if you know anybody that's renting apartments, that want to buy a house, that want to sell a house,
Yeah, and I just want
Please.
I wanted to get into that too, really
Sure.
quickly. Give your information and your phone number, your website, and everything where
right.
people can get in contact with you, and then we'll do
We'll
the
do the
same
same
with
thing,
you
right.
as well because we're running out of time.
Okay, so my
Right.
email is Septimus, SEPTIMUS, Prime, PRIME,
Optimus Prime.
Optimus
Homes,
Prime.
HOMES @gmail.com.
All
Yeah.
right. You want to give your
it's a
phone number?
unique
You have a
backstory.
business phone number?
Yeah,
that you
I have a
wanna-
business phone number. You guys can contact me at 347-217-8300.
Yes.
And I have an Instagram. It's similar to my email format. It's Septimus_Prime_Homes.
Dope.
Okay.
And I won't jerk you.com. No, we have to wrap it up. So
We got 1 minute. Go ahead, Angela.
My phone number 917-968-5170. My email Angela Kayla KAYLA 0711 @
That's
Phone
what's up.
number.
Thank
Oh,
you.
you just gave the phone
I gave
number.
the phone, right.
You have an Instagram?
Nope.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
All right. So
doesn't he look like the guy that played in Psych? Just want to
What?
tell you.
No, you don't.
Who
No, you
oh,
don't.
I hear I
Shanoa.
look like Lorenz Tate all the time.
Shanoa,
Yeah.
what you got to say?
Yeah,
I
you do
just
look
wanted to
closer
say thank
Lorenz
you so
Tate.
much for our guests for showing up, and appreciate it. We
They can
we
still
got a
call
lot
us
of
for further
lot of it-
questions. They
yeah.
might have more questions.
Yeah,
too.
if you have any more questions, please contact these two on the phone numbers that they provided, and you can always inbox me if you
Right.
want to reach
Reach
out
out,
to any
right.
one of them, which I'm sure they will. And thank you so much for tuning in. See you later.
Thank you.
And Shanoa is crazy.com.
I am.